Welcome to the Business Legends Podcast, where we interview business leaders and entrepreneurs so that you can learn from their successes, become inspired, and meet the people that make change happen. I'm the host of the show, Reese Arlen, along with my co-host, the greatest co-host in all the land, Christian Webb. Say hello.
Oh, yeah. Here I am.
There you go. You
Throw
did
the
it.
flex in there.
He refuses to wear his blazer because it's hot in here, but
I'm swole.
we looked so. You are not swole. We looked so good before you messed that up. But today we are accompanied by our dear friend Mike Simmons, the multi-entrepreneur projecteur with Eolian VR. Mike, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, dude. So let's jump right into it. What in the world is an Eolian? How do I get one?
It's an alien from Mars.
Alien from Mars.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
So, so we came up with his name. Well, my partner did. Essentially, what an Eolian is it is this beautiful manifestation that happens in the desert after a sandstorm. So it's kind of represents order out of chaos, right? Beauty out of chaos.
Okay.
It's kind of like the symbology behind it. We wanted something unique, something different. Of course.
So it's an actual word.
It's an actual word. It's an
It does
actual
not come-
thing. It's
okay.
this beautiful, sand formation.
It does not
It's
come
basically
from.
like the etch and sketch reset. Is that kind of what this is?
I was gonna say it does not come from dubstep. Okay, please continue. We had a good time before this show.
Yes, we did.
It's gonna be chaos.
Yeah, so
Love.
it was originally just gonna be like a temporary name, right? And then
Okay.
it just kind of stuck. And although no one can say it, it's relatively memorable. And once people learn how to say it, again, it kind of like makes sense. And if you see from our logo, it's kind of a little bit of an iteration of what it looks like. And being in the tech industry and working with government and again some of these very very slow moving bureaucratic industries, it kind of makes sense, right? And again, the imagery kind of fit, right? Bringing something beautiful and out of the chaos, right? Of
That's
the
freaking
business world
sweet.
and
So
government
tell
world.
our listeners what Eolian is, because you're in multiple different facets of technology, but I just want them to know like what all you guys do.
Yeah, so we do primarily augmented reality, virtual reality. So we have a patented platform called ESP. It's like a Eolian simulation platform, and that's kind of where we really started. Well, technically we started 360
Wait, is that on purpose?
videos
Isn't
and
ESP
such.
where you can get
Yes.
something? It's the same thing.
Yes.
Okay.
So, well, it has two, right?
Yeah.
A double entendre a little bit there.
Okay.
So originally my partner started in 360 video and things, and we kind of transitioned, right, just as a natural iteration into VR and AR.
Gotcha.
And we also we work with a lot of drones, right? We do a lot of AI, ML. So really our whole goal and mantra is really building platforms. And again, leveraging all the different, bleeding edge technology that enable them. Quantum computing, something we're really into and looking at.
So
and
what
again, AI,
came
ML, really.
first? So just to backtrack a little bit. So you're doing this amazing stuff with VR and AR. And were your first contracts government contracts, or did you have privatized, or how did that go?
No, I mean, when we first started, it was just, it was a total hustle, and it was just like, I have, I have another company called WIMS Consulting.
Yeah.
That was my first real foray into entrepreneurship, and so we were, double dipping in some of my other clients, right? We did some work with a fire department up in New Jersey, which is where my partner was originally from before moving to Tampa, right outside the city. We did stuff for Atrium Health. We did, again, just kind of anything and everything we could find, right? And so we did one for a project for a company here called LSI Medical. So we were just, hustling, whatever we could get.
Yeah,
Again,
all over the
whether
place.
360 video, AR, VR, 3D animations was kind of a big, like these virtual reality animations was really how we kicked things off, and then it's since kind of progressed into the full-blown platform, right? And then where we're constantly kind of updating and adding new iterations, new features and such to a full-blown application, right?
Yeah. So you guys kind of, I guess you. And how do you know your business partner, by the way? Did you just know him
We
through?
went to college together.
Okay.
And we were 2 doors down freshman year at University of Miami. He used to knock on my door at 4 a.m. to go surfing, and I would just have gotten home like 5 minutes ago.
Yeah,
So we're
right.
kind of,
yeah, we're coming.
right. And he had started a magazine on campus. He was just
Wow.
always, we were buddies for again at school, and he was always very entrepreneurial and all. And we kind of lost touch for a few years, and especially after college, right? Hadn't talked in a while. I ended up going to New York City for business, and put it out on LinkedIn. Hey, I'm in New York City for a few days. Let me know if you have time, want to get together. So he reaches out, right? And essentially, it's literally my birthday. Me and my wife are at the Rainbow Room, top of the Rock. Beautiful like date night, right? And for my birthday, And I actually invited him along the third week. And my wife's like, what the fuck? Now, she knows him. She went to school with us, too, so like, she knows him. But so there's this picture. It's this famous
You gotta send
picture.
this to me. You gotta send this to me.
Quote, unquote famous, because, yeah, we're not that famous. But it's the three of us, like, literally with the entire New York City behind us.
It's
And
just three of you.
on my date night.
Sounds like
And,
you're
on your throuple.
Yeah, there you go.
Exactly.
You had your work wife and your regular wife. That's
Right?
just how it goes. That's
Yeah,
it's funny you
that's
should
how it
say that
started.
because the two of us and Kayla, his wife, have a lot of photos together the same way. But anyways, that's a whole nother thing. So I guess you meet these people through WIMS Consulting. By the way, WIMS Consulting, let me just go on record and say when it comes to marketing and things, you kick complete ass. So don't be bashful about sharing that on the show. You meet these people through WIMS Consulting, and then how does and what's your business partner's name, just so we know?
Michael McCormick. Yeah,
Oh, so it's Michael and okay.
I know Mike and Michael.
Mike
pretty
and
much.
Michael, sure.
Does he also own McCormick, the restaurant?
Right, or the spices he gets a lot.
Oh, yeah,
spelled
yeah.
a little bit
Neither.
differently.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah, I got you.
He's also Conor McGregor's doppelganger. So it's just
Interesting.
Very confusing.
Oh boy, that would be bad if Conor McGregor was like running his mouth somewhere and he just takes a random punch in the face.
It
somewhere.
may happen soon. I would not be surprised. He's a little skinnier, but McGregor's got bigger since.
Yeah, got a little
the
meat
old
on him.
days. Oh yeah, they could have definitely
Oh boy,
got mistaken.
that's scary. I'll tell you a funny story about doppelganger after the show. But okay, so you get these opportunities, and so the clients you have with WIMS. Did you kind of identify this need for 3D animations and VR and AR and stuff, or how did that come about?
Yeah, so that was a big part of it, and then even on that first night we were hanging out, right, talking business. We both kind of knew
With your wife.
Yes, exactly. I know she's sitting there staring at us like just drinking. We both kind of knew everyone's kind of going after this, and this was also like 8 years ago. So this was kind of before the foregone conclusion that it is today.
Sure.
But everyone's kind of going after entertainment, VR, video games, right? Things like that. So we always kind of knew, even back then, we wanted to really be in the niche of enterprise for AR, right? And of course VR too, but like really enterprise AR is where we thought the big opportunity was, because there's a lot of blue sky.
You were thinking this 8 years ago.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Early adoption, baby.
Yeah. Before, I mean, when people weren't even adopting
religion.
VR yet.
He calls me an early adopter.
He is an early
You were
adopter.
thinking about it 8 years ago.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And even before, I mean, I'll be honest, I steal a lot of shit from sci-fi movies, like stuff. And
Within half a decade, it comes real.
Exactly.
Within half a decade, it's real.
And my litmus test is really
that is that since you, I mean, so I was gonna say
the best place to get ideas.
that needs to be like your marketing tagline for Eolian. like we still ship from sci-fi movie. Anyway, I'm sorry.
I might use that actually. I give you credit for it.
So was there something you saw in a sci-fi movie or something?
Well, the collection of things, right?
Okay.
And it was really a lot of different movies with a lot of different use cases. But my litmus test for technology is like, is this thing inevitable? Like, will this 100% exist in the world?
Eventually.
Whether we do it or someone else, right? Is this going to be where things go? So to me, like, again, augmented reality is really just, again, adding layers and nodes and information on top of what you're doing regularly, right? So that to me was always inevitable, right? Like, that we are going to enhance our day-to-day workflows, whether it's training, educational purposes, right? Whether it's, again, adding data and information in real time and in a seamless way, and making it just more accessible. That to me always seemed like it's 100% going to exist. Things like Ready Player One, right? If you've ever seen that to me is
awesome.
Yeah, that to me is inevitable as well. Like that 100% will exist. I mean, there's already haptic suits where you can feel things and stuff. It's not, of course, there yet.
That's okay though.
Exactly.
It'll be there.
Yeah,
it'll
I
be
think
there.
that kind of stuff will be within our lifetime. Since
Within our lifetime.
Yeah,
Yeah,
then I'll
yeah.
finally be able to like slash Christian with the sword and like beat
Like
the
when you
crap
tell
out of him.
somebody a,
Therapeutic.
when you tell somebody a good idea, and then they say, I feel like something's not quite there yet. That's usually a good indicator that it's coming.
It's gonna happen.
100%, right? Because if it's already here, I mean, you're too late. And so that's kind of why VR was coming. So we're like, let's skip, 2 steps ahead, and kind of try to get there before a lot of other people do.
Yeah.
And so it's a good bet. I mean, in hindsight.
Speaking of technology, I'm really curious about something. If you don't have a thought on it, we'll move on. But so you went from you go from like mail to SMS to email and SMS with better technologies. What's going to be the jump that was from mail to SMS? What is SMS going to become?
So I think I mean, you're already starting to see like Slack and things like this, right? Like Signal, Telegram.
But it's still messaging. It's still
messaging.
words.
Yeah. So I think, and man, I'm torn on this because I don't like a lot of people are doing the voice recordings and shit. Like I fucking hate getting.
I don't think that's
recording.
it. I don't think
It's
that's
not
it.
it. I agree.
I don't think so.
I agree.
Snapchat.
I think,
I don't like that shit.
Like, what if it's some
Yeah,
kind
me
of
neither.
telepathic link of some kind?
well, if you've seen Elon Musk is working on stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
Neuralink. I mean, it's certainly possible.
Yeah, because you have written word on paper,
Yeah.
and then you have digital word, which is still Slack, digital world. So it's
Right.
not really the evolution.
Exactly.
But there is going to be another thing if technology has, if history repeats itself.
I have a prediction on this.
Go ahead.
What do you think it is?
And I'm not in you guys' boat, so I'm not an early adopter type of person. But I think that the technology with smart glasses is getting
Yes.
like tremendously better. And so like you had Google Glasses, which was just a terrible launch like several years back type of thing.
Way ahead of its time, but yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
The idea was brilliant, but too early.
Agreed, 100%. Facebook/Meta
Yeah.
just pushed. They just opened up like a partnership with Ray-Ban.
Yeah, love those.
To
I haven't
where-
tried them yet, but I
Yeah.
want them.
They're only like $300
Yeah,
too, which
so
is
cheap.
What a
insane.
good choice in partnership, by the way. 'cause
Yes,
it's the
'cause
only
they look
glasses,
cool.
and they're supposed
Yeah.
to look clunky. That's what Ray-Bans
Yes.
do. So
I
Listen,
want those.
we're about to fight. Don't be talking
love
about
Ray-Bans.
Oh, good.
I got multiple Ray-Bans. So
Yeah.
it's a big
Yeah.
deal.
But they are meant to be clunky. Like imagine
They're
if they
not meant-
partner.
we're about to fight.
Imagine if they
We're
partner
about
with
to
Maui Jim. That would make any sense.
No, you're right. You're right. Yeah. By clunky,
I
do you
wear
mean large?
Wayfarers already, so like put a little camera in there. I'm sold.
Yeah. Do you by clunky? Do you mean large?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant they
Like
looked
you're
like.
clunky.
I will say my aviators are not clunky, but the Wayfarers are
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah. That was good job, Christian. That was a good one. So I think that back to our original question. I think that there's going to be like a notification system type of thing that happens through glasses.
But that'll
Because
still be digital. That'll still be digital writing.
yeah, but I think that that's the next step. Yeah, that's the next step. I think that's the next.
But
step.
I think that so digital is digital. So even in the glasses, that'll still be digital. I'm talking like out of this world, out of your thought. Like you don't even know what it is. Like telepathic, like with Cyberlink.
So I think you'll be able to communicate that way, but I don't think it'll necessarily because here's my thing, right? And why I still love email to this day. You have to be able to go back and access that information later. So it's like one thing to have a conversation.
Yeah.
It's another thing to share meaningful information that needs to kind of be referenced later, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. So it's a good question you're asking because I think you'll be able to communicate that way
It would have
through
to-
brainwaves and such.
It would have to get past your eyes somehow. So right now we read with our eyes.
Yes.
You would have to somehow
just
understand
bypass.
a message
Yeah.
without your eyes seeing it.
Plus, how do you
A weird
start and
concept.
stop
Yeah.
the broadcast, so to speak?
Yeah. Good
Because
concept.
because you don't want every
That
thought.
is- that is my
If-
nightmare.
If
That is my
every
nightmare.
thought of mine,
I'm getting
I'd be in
arrested
jail.
tomorrow. yeah.
Or I'd be in a
Come here,
straight
Elon
jacket.
Musk.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
feel like most of us would.
Yeah.
So
Well.
how do you? What's the trigger to start? Stop? Maybe
I don't know.
So they're
Like a
working on, for
switch or
example, contact lenses that have an AR layer, which again kind of freaks me out. I haven't tried those yet. I don't even think I could put regular contacts in. That's a bridge too far for me. But essentially, how they operate them, because right now with AR VR, you use your hands, right? You pinch in motion, zoom in, zoom out. You just use gestures with your eyes. So you look up to the left, for example, to swipe left, right? Or you blink to click, right? So there's got to be some sort of interface. That
Based on the
comes
droids
out.
exploding, I will not be putting the first rendition of the
I
content.
do not want to be
on
the
my
early
eyes.
adopter of that because I like to be able
my
to see
eyes,
things.
man. Oh, yeah, I agree. That's
That'd freak me
A
out.
the
pocket
headset's
fire? Not.
cool, but the contact blows
I could
your eye
see
out
like
here. I don't know.
Yeah, I sort of expect another thing. This is more soon than the AR configurations and stuff. But I sort of see where like AirPods, we're gonna have increased functionality with AirPods, and we already do. You know, you can put your AirPods and be like, "Hey Siri, what's the weather today?" and it'll tell you or whatever. But I sort of think that the mediums are gonna improve. I said it, and Siri's going off right now in one of our pockets.
See, that's one of the
That's some
concerns,
creepy
right?
shit. That's some
How-
creepy shit.
Where's the start and stop? But
Yeah.
it could be a neural implant. I don't
Yeah.
know if I want to go that far, but I mean, because if you think about it,
I think that's what it'll be, though.
AirPods,
creepy.
glasses,
It's possible.
Yeah.
that could all.
I think you'll
could it send
think
signals?
to cut it on and off.
Yeah.
It'll have a data bank that you can pull on probably by thinking about the
That is
data
my
bank
nightmare.
and then pull it forward.
Yeah.
It's not that I
It
can't
can
see
exist.
this.
Will it be mass adopted? I wonder.
Yeah.
Because we're all.
Not by 50 and up. People 50 and up are scared.
Yeah. Or in my case, people 34 and Don't want. That's my nightmare.
I don't want that either.
If you
I do not want a neural implant.
If you attach it to his hobbies, he'll absolutely get it.
That's probably true. Let's talk a little bit about start stop that crazy conversation.
To be honest, though, like to the
You're not
listeners,
done with it.
I am done. But to the listeners, thinking about innovation
Yes.
is
Yeah.
100% entrepreneurship.
Yes,
That's
it is,
true.
it is.
That's true. I do want to talk about business partnership. Obviously, we have a colorful one. I'll put it that way. But so how did you have these opportunities? They presented themselves. You realized that you want to get into it. You're talking business in New York with your wife and Mike 2.0. So Conor, we'll call him Conor McGregor on here.
That works.
So how did you decide that you wanted to partner with him, and what was the decision making like for that?
Yeah, so I had done a couple, because again, I love entrepreneurship in general, right? So I'd done a couple businesses where I'd done equity stakes and things like that, right? Or like, hybrid models, right? Some cash, some equity. And a few of them had just flamed out miserably, right?
Sure.
And so I kind of was also of the belief, like, I'm never doing this again. I'm just getting paid straight cash, or screw it, I'm not doing it. But this was kind of one. It was like, all right, it's someone I know and trust. I've known for a while. This idea I think is huge, and I think it's also like, again, the next big thing that's kind of ahead of its time that can also continue to grow into several iterations of the next big thing after that. And so I was like, all right, let me give it another go. At least this time, again, it's a different situation. Someone I know, someone I can also be a part of the ground, from the ground floor, right? And so so I joined relatively. So he had started a company, and I had joined. Again, I was just like, dude, I want to be a part of this. I'm going to help you build it. I want to, so again, we just kind of like set it up right away. And by right away, like a few months after, right? We'd like, again, I was kind of involved in all.
Downtime.
But like early enough that like, again, I could also set, have a say in this, in setting the course, right? And like I said, because again, it's, again, great business to be in with, web development, CRMs, all those kind of things, right? The business consulting world. But I was like, I want something else also that could be, that could really hyperscale in a relatively quickly time and have a lot of upside, and in a way that because a lot of times with consulting you're selling yourself, right? And obviously you can bring in other people and all that, but time is really the metric. And so that's kind of where I was like, I need something at least to be involved where you could kind of remove the selling time, just to augment income and revenue and all those kind of things. So I was like, this could really be it, right? And getting into software, you can, it's still software at its base level, right?
Sure.
But that was kind of an opportunity to do that. And then, like I said, I'd always had this idea of like where this was going. I mean, I remember I used to work in an accounting firm for 8 years in Miami before this, and like I remember talking about the idea of like things that are like Zoom now, or even being 100% second nature. Where you're going to be in again a conference room and all the different ways that business is going to be improved. I remember telling people things like this. Oh man, and like, so I've always kind of had an interest in this space. Oh my gosh, I used to get into fights with the accountants and auditors because I'm like, one day we are literally gonna have a zero balance with the IRS at all times, and you're not gonna have a job, because they would make fun of me because I do marketing, business development, consulting for the firm, and call me a cost center and stuff. And like, you're gonna not have a job in 10 years because auditing is gonna be done in real time at all, like literally 24/7. You have a zero balance with the government, and you're not gonna have a job and shit like that. So like I could always see. Now,
I think it'll be like
this right
I think
now.
I was gonna say I think it'll be like 50 years before that happens, but I definitely think that's on the way.
There's a big lobbying. Again, if we get rid of accountants and a lot of people will be out of job.
I 100% agree with you, but the only reason I don't agree with that one, well, one, my wife's a CPA, but really, even if she wasn't a CPA, I think it's because the government is so slow.
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah.
And they don't want, again, 1 million people out of jobs.
If it was
either.
private, it'd be less than a decade.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I very much agree. Again, I don't think they're going out of a job now. I would just.
But that government link,
talk shit,
I think it could probably be done within a couple of years. But that government link up, God, man.
Oh, that would
I
be.
just called a government piece called the USDA for my mother the other day, and they literally were like, yeah, we used to have 9 employees for 2 districts, and now we have 2 employees for 3 districts. And I'm like, God, I mean, they work y'all to death.
Dude, I know what it's like trying to get an invoice paid from the government.
Oh yeah, yeah, we do too.
You get
we
6 different,
We'll tell you stories after.
300 days later.
6 different people telling you 6 different things. It turns out like this recently even, and again, I've done this. I've submitted dozens and dozens of invoices through this wide area workflow program. Again, sorry, Uncle Sam, not to do that. But And like after the 6th time calling and emailing and such, they're like, "Oh, the contract people didn't upload the contract properly." So it wasn't even me, and no one told me this till it's already been
the end
3
of
months.
it, right?
So you're right because of that. Now, but the technology exists to do that.
It does.
But there's no way it's going to get adopted at this level.
Do you think that that's the cost of people? And what I mean by that is that a lot of these mistakes don't happen from computer systems because computer systems are very binary.
Right.
But just the communicative effect of people, where people you put the basketball in the middle and everybody just kind of points and stares at it and say, "Oh, you're supposed to pick that up, not me," type of thing.
I think that's a big part of it, man. I think a lot of people are just, and then the human element again, because people are remarkable in a lot of ways, but I think just people didn't. Man,
They also suck in a lot of ways.
they suck in a lot because they're just burnt
I'm the one that's
out.
supposed to say that, not you.
They're burnt out, right? They're overworked. They're just like disenchanted with the whole world today. It seems. I mean, you still find people who are really like gung ho and optimistic, and I'm an optimist at heart, but I still find myself like staring into the void at times. When you look at the world around you, read the news for 5 seconds, you're like,
Oh yeah, it makes you feel
holy
pretty
shit,
awful.
man.
I mean,
especially lately.
Yeah.
AI and like that actually adopting is based on the same thing as like CRMs getting adopted inside businesses.
And it's still not. There's a lot of big companies that have shitty CRM programs to this day.
Because their employees don't put the data in.
Yes,
Right.
correct.
Yeah.
Or they
And
don't
things
have a gun,
change.
but-
It's always right.
Yep.
I mean, that's what I always tell people. I'm like, and then someone will put B of A, another person puts Bank of America. That doesn't integrate. Then
Right.
people switch jobs so often. So I thought, I'm like shocked that CRMs are still so poorly adopted with big companies even to this day. Like I used to go to Dreamforce 10 years ago, 12 years, because I did built the system for my old accounting firm as well.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I started doing that side of business. To this day, there is still a massive opportunity for just simply CRM programs alone.
Oh, for sure.
It's still 10 years
Which
away.
is so
from being,
sad.
Yeah.
Right? It should
Yeah.
be real time, instant. Like this should be a foregone conclusion in part of people's day to day. But you're right. The human element is what screws it up because the technology's there. I mean, you can add every bell and whistle to update things automatically, right?
Yeah.
Sync with
When you buy a
LinkedIn,
CRM, you would think that you would just input each employee, and because those employees always have similar job responsibilities based on their title, that it automatically like creates their dashboard to perfectly work the way they're supposed to work in their position. But it doesn't. You just like upload an email and then you have to customize this dashboard and customize this dashboard and then teach this person how to use it and then hope they use it consistently and then follow up continually. Like it's not what it's supposed to be.
Yes, data is not there. Big data is not where it should be by any means. And that's where the idea of AI and all this stuff is really intriguing because it should be augmenting some of the stuff that we're doing, right? And again, automating and improving. I don't necessarily think it's going to put everyone out of a job or anything like that because, I test
jobs.
AI quite a bit. Yes. Now, is everyone going to be sitting drawing cartoons and doing art all day, every day? I mean, not for a while.
No.
I don't think. Plus, how unfulfilling does that sound? Like, I like to work personally, but
or at least do something that's fulfilling. On that subject, we Zoom. I don't know if you've seen, but Zoom just added an AI tool feature to their thing, and it basically records your meeting, and you can type it back to like say when did Mike and I talk about drones or something like that, and supposedly it'll bring back the transcript of that piece.
Brilliant.
If
it works.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. You'd think that's brilliant.
Yeah.
But we tested it out on Monday. It's a piece of shit. Like it didn't do anything.
I was thinking about
Yeah.
speaking of drones. I was thinking about reaching out to Andrew Asher.
Yeah.
And asking him if his drones could paint.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that would be cool.
Dude, drones are shooting guns right now, so
yeah.
and dropping
Yeah.
bombs.
If they could
so
paint, that'd be
it
kinda
could
cool.
probably the spray paint. Oh yeah, or
Like
the
the
spray.
three-story or commercial buildings.
I
That'd be cool.
I bet that's not that hard. And here's the other thing about like technology. Some of the stuff that seems so insane, man. You write a few scripts. I mean, because we will have ChatGPT, for example, augment some of our code. Some of it works again flawlessly. I guarantee that's something you lock a nerd in the room for a week. That thing will be at least doing the first coat.
Yeah.
Relatively well done, and I would not be shocked at all.
That'd be so cool.
I love what you said. You lock a nerd in a room for a week.
Don't let them out. Don't feed them.
Just
no
lock 'em in
water.
there.
Just give him Mountain Dew,
Mountain Dew,
and Cheetos, man.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
let 'em work.
Doritos and Cheetos and pizza. He'll be fine. He'll be fine. Oh my god. The world needs nerds. Is ultimately
Absolutely,
what we're
man.
getting at here.
Absolutely.
So let's talk a little bit about innovation in the future. So, what do you see happening, particularly with AR and VR in your line of work,
Yeah, of course. So again,
other than shooting guns?
So we do so we have a heavy focus in really two main industries, and then kind of in the ancillary. So we would do a ton with government from the military defense perspective. Then we do healthcare, right? And then in the realm of military and defense, there's police, there's fires, right? There's search and rescue, disaster response, right? So there's kind of a lot of different iterations surrounding that. And this is, I think that where AR, VR, and again, with the help of AI and ML and all that is going, is that it's going to just, again, like we talked about before, eliminate some of the dangerous jobs that exist, right? Like some of the, so de-risk a lot of things.
Sure.
Our kind of niche is mission planning and command and control. So, for example, for an operator to be able to do a chalk walk of a place, while they're en route to a place, it gives them a little bit more situational awareness than they would if they just looked at a regular map or a 2D map, or, they still use sand tables sometimes to mission plan, which again is kind of crazy to me, but
yeah. Or
at the
old
same time, it
GPS
still
data.
works,
Way
but
out of date.
It works, but it's not
Yeah.
what it could be, right? Like you could literally walk, and in VR you could do a 1-to-1 walk where it's like you're fully immersed inside a building in a tunnel, outside. AR is a little bit more God's eye view, right? So you can kind of see the entire terrain.
Yeah.
Again, and then from there you augment your reality by dropping nodes, planning routes, right? And then also you could be in the same room, seeing the exact same thing with anyone in the world, interacting with it, right? Changing things, discussing
So
strategy.
curious, when you create the plan and it's like at this node we're supposed to turn left, you're supposed to go right. In the augmented reality version, while you're actually on the mission, if it's like over here in like a panel or something, does it like alert you that you're supposed to be doing something at this action point?
So it's still a bit from before it's real time, like real time. So we're still kind of on the path to that. So right now, what our we have a patent for all this stuff to kind of put it all together.
Yeah.
So you can do real time tracking. Again, you can communicate voice over IP, things like that.
Yeah.
Where there's something called TAC that exists, right? Which is the tactical assault kit. Essentially, at its base level, it's an Android phone that you can, again, think like Google Map on steroids. And you can, again, but it also will have a tracking device. So you can import this data in, see where people are moving, and alert them. That stuff exists right now, right? Someone that's on a TAC phone, for example, and we've tested all this out, right?
Yeah.
And have kind of proven the concept in real world scenarios. You can give them the heads up and they are also seeing the map as you see it.
Yeah.
So it's kind of that two-way communication, but really times 20, whoever's in the room.
That's cool.
And then now what's really the next iteration from there, though, from the command and control side, is like the simulation of being able to almost do to really see from a mass scale what each action, what each decision will lead to, and then even be able to predict kind of 20 steps ahead. So incorporating that predictive side of
that'd be cool.
if we move
That's really neat.
2 miles forward, what's the enemy going to do? Or the enemy may send drones, may send may come flank us from this side, etc.
Yeah.
That's kind of where the next iteration of development is going, is that simulation side, but then 5-10 steps ahead, because really what obviously the main thing from the military side is they want to save lives, right? To obviously minimize casualties, minimize risk. But then also, what is really helpful is because they also do AARs, right, after action reports of every mission, for example. If you can quantify what the likelihood of a mission succeeding or this maneuver succeeding, right? So we're making this decision with 80% certainty that this is going to work out. It starts to help you make better decisions over time, right? Being able to.
Sure.
So these are kind of all the things that are happening and that exist now, but that are also don't necessarily exist yet, but are kind of coming down.
See, we told you sci-fi
pipeline.
in the past makes the future. Because way back in the day, they had those little people talking in their ears, telling them, take a left now, take a left now. There's probably somebody around the corner.
Yeah.
Yes.
And like,
Yeah.
Oh man, they're talking about seeing through walls and stuff too. Like they're
That's
legit
sweet.
working on.
you would have thought it was sci-fi only.
Yeah, well, you would have. Have you guys seen this is random, but have you ever seen the movie Heart of Stone on Netflix?
That sounds
It's
familiar.
a new movie. It's a new movie. It came out like a couple months ago.
I've heard of it, I think, but I haven't seen.
The protagonist is Gal Gadot. Wonder
Yes,
Woman.
I've not seen it yet.
So you need to check it out. That's your homework assignment because she's I'm not going to give anything away, but she's a super spy basically, and she's plugged in. She has like a little earpiece and a piece that goes behind the neck. So it's like a neural implant type of thing.
Okay.
And as she's like on her mission, as she's seeing the mission, it'll like. I mean, it looks just like a video game. Like it'll give her like a line of the best trajectory to go. It'll alert her when there's enemies to her left and stuff. It shows the speed that she's doing. She just sees it on
It'll be
real
a thing.
time.
So real time, yeah.
Damn, that is my homework.
There you
Holy
go.
shit, that is
Yeah, you need to see
exactly
it.
what
Yeah.
I think.
At
is
At
coming.
least the first 20 minutes.
That's
This
our
is
next
coming,
5 years.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is
Yeah.
coming.
Yeah.
So right now they have something called IVAS
Mm-hmm.
that they're working on for people on missions in the field to be wearing, right? So Microsoft created, there's the HoloLens 2, but then there's the beefed up, hardened version called IVAS. It's not there yet. They just ran some tests with like 20 soldiers. Of course, again, it's a very difficult project, but they're working on that type of thing for soldiers in real time. Now, it's bulky, it's heavy. There's lights and stuff that again the enemy could see if there's a sniper scope and stuff. So it's not quite there yet, but they're working on things like that you wear while you're on mission.
Yeah.
So I got to check that out. That
You
sounds
need to check it out.
fascinating.
I'm fascinated by just military technology in general. Like just all sorts of stuff.
You ever looked up the YouTube video that shows the top 10 super suits that actually already exist?
No.
You need to do that.
That's how we got started. Actually, we started working for free / doing. We would get paid like $1,200 to spend a week working on doing rapid prototyping projects, and we're working on something. I think this isn't class anymore. It's called Talos, like the Iron Man suit.
Yeah.
So we were kind of working on the heads-up display. That's really how we got into the military, and since then it's kind of spiraled since.
Every single
But
country
working on
has
a
its
super
own
suit.
super suits.
Yeah.
And you need to look at that video, but it's actually mind blowing.
Yeah, it'd be. I don't know.
I mean, you see Amazon warehouse employees, right, with the thing to like.
And that's
Yeah.
a basic version,
Right?
very basic.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
What does that? I can't remember. I know what you're talking about, but what do those little suits that they wear do? It's like something that helps them with packing or something like that, or posture. or
For
something,
I
or-
think for lifting and
Yeah.
packing.
Yeah. I've
lifting
seen it.
by-
But I
Those
can't
little
remember.
suits probably do like 3 or 4 extra strength or something.
Yeah.
These
Yeah,
super
yeah.
suits are like 30x.
That's
and
awesome.
makes your endurance last forever, and like solar powered batteries and stuff. Like,
Wow.
Yeah, you're not seeing them in the field yet.
yeah, because they're
Like,
expensive. I'm sure.
Yeah, they're expensive and they're still not perfect. But
How much
but
do you think a suit like that would be like with everything
to do it
involved?
right?
Yeah.
I mean, if you think about some of these planes, even some of them are $1 billion.
Right.
So I would think
Like the
it'd
one we
probably
just
be-
lost over South Carolina.
right? I would think anything less than $100 million to do a suit right
Wow.
would be.
How,
For now, and
For
then
now,
as
for
you
now.
scale.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, for now.
Just like anything. I remember when he first got into the drone industry, LiDAR had just come out or whatever.
Oh yeah, we do a lot with
And-
LiDAR.
They
Yeah.
were $300,000
Right.
back then.
Yeah, yeah.
And now they're whatever.
No,
right?
your phone could do LiDAR. Not
Yeah.
great, but like
Yeah.
your phone could do LiDAR. Your phone can make 3D. Dude, your phone can make a 3D animation of an object by again just using
Yeah.
photogrammetry.
What does a LiDAR camera cost these days? Like $6,000 or
So
something?
for a good, so we have used different ones. We have one that's like a handheld. That's up to 50 for a really because again they all vary, right? You can get one for $6,000. We also have LiDAR drones that we use and deploy. But for a really really good one, and then with the software that kind of comes and optimized, like $50,000.
Yeah.
But you can do one easy for $5-6
Yeah,
grand.
so like a sixth or
Depends on your
seventh
use
of what it
case.
used to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We a real fast story. We were in Las Vegas actually for his bachelor party, and I called a Lyft. We were going from one place to the other, and I get a notification on Lyft. It's like, hey, we're testing out self-driving cars. Do you want to be a part? I was like, yes,
Absolutely.
And so there's
yeah,
three of
that's
us,
pretty
and we're all big burly guys or whatever. And put it this way, my other friend's name is the Juggernaut, so we're big burly guys, okay? And so we call it a full-size car, and it's a BMW 7 Series, but they're like, y'all got to get in the back, and we're like, shit. So we're all squeezed up in the back or whatever. But they were explaining to us, but we were on Las Vegas Boulevard in a full self-driving car.
That's awesome.
And they were telling us
It's like
about
a
all.
decade ago.
2017 it would have been. So
Jeez.
yeah, I have a picture. I'll show you. They're like, yeah, don't take pictures. I'm like, oh yeah, definitely not. Click.
Yeah, exactly. I'm definitely taking pictures.
Definitely taking pictures of this. But I remember seeing like on the dashboard, it did like silhouettes of people and stuff because that was the software. But they were talking about how much the car cost. They told us all about it. But they said we were like, well, how much does a car like this cost right now, right? And they said, well, do you like Lamborghinis? And we're like, yeah. And they're like, well, you can buy about 10 of the newest Lamborghini for one of these. I'm like, oh,
Jeez.
oof.
And now it's like on
Yeah.
the road in a
Yeah.
Tesla. Oh,
Right.
sheesh.
Right.
So
I
the
mean,
technology back then was actually better than what we've seen today. So
Yeah.
so they're still hiding a lot they can do for us.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
This is like
it's in beta.
it was almost a decade ago, and
Yeah.
it was literally better than what
Yeah.
Tesla does today.
Right. It's
Yeah.
just like the electric cars from 30 years ago, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. They're like go-karts, but it is what it is. Well, Mike, I believe we're out of time, man. Thank you so much for joining us on the show today. At the end of the Business Legends show, we like to ask our
But we've had so many
guests-
funny questions
had so many
already.
fun and so much
Right.
fun and
So
funny
maybe we
questions.
should ask
we
a
don't know.
serious question.
A serious question.
Like,
Whatever. I'm ready.
Man.
Whose jacket do you like the best?
Yeah, whose jacket do you like the best between Christian and
Yours
mine?
is a little more unique, a little funky, excuse me, a little fresh. I've got like 10 of those though at the same time.
So you're kind of lame.
No, I've got 10. That's Old Faithful right there.
Old Faithful.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with that.
That's
traditional.
I want to get a.
Oh, you're a
Old
traditional
Faithful.
guy, huh?
Traditional. guy.
Well, at times.
In your flannel.
At times. In my flannel.
In your
Exactly.
flannel. We've come full circle around this conversation.
Lunchtime.
It's lunchtime. Mike, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me, guys. Appreciate it.